Hello, viewers. Welcome to the eighth episode of the Invincible Talks. I'm Neelam Kumar, your host and the author of this book. Why Invincible Talks? Because this is my tiny effort to dispel the grimness of the pandemic with some sunshine, positivity, happiness, hope, but most importantly, courage as we face the adversities around us. There are no sub stories here, just brave, powerful ones from, about real life adversity fighters who jump out of the pages of my book and come here to share precious life lessons with us. Today, we are going to discuss a very important, a very serious issue. We are going to focus on a different kind of pandemic, the pandemic of domestic violence against women. And to give us a first-hand account of what it feels like, I have for you today's invincible guest, Shalini Dureja. Shalini, welcome.
Hi,
Thank you
Neelam.
so much, my brave
Thank
heart.
you.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Neelam. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you. Shalini, you have been so brave that you have shared your story with me when I was writing that book. And actually, by coming on live now, you are helping a million women around the globe. So thank you very much. And thank you for sharing your story tonight with
My,
us. And
my pleasure, Neelam. My pleasure.
now, before I start asking you the questions, I want to set the context.
Yeah.
I want to read from a little bit from your story in my book. Um, I quote, he had prayed that she would be spared those beatings, at least tonight. When he hit her in the ribs, legs, and chest, she told herself it was okay. But suddenly, through flailing fists and flying army boots, he hit her in the stomach again and again and again until she collapsed on the floor under his boots, holding her blood soaked back. She had remained unconscious on the floor the whole night, soaking in the pool of her blood. And then I go on to describe how she was groaning and floating in unconsciousness. And when she woke up in the morning, she was so shocked to see that her attacker was sitting at the dining table right next to her, buttering his toast. So, Shalini, I want to tell you, I was crying, I was weeping when I was writing your story. I want
Okay.
to ask you, uh, tell us more, please.
Oh, well, I mean, that wasn't really one of the first beatings. I mean, I'd had several other beatings earlier, but yes, that particular one was one of the worst beatings which, I endured, which I was really injured. I had to be taken to the hospital and they had to check my kidney damage for several weeks. I mean, they had to do continuous tests again and again. So, I mean, it was a very traumatic, very, very terrible, horrifying experience for me. I mean, I was in so much of pain that, you can't even imagine. And the worst feeling was that how can something like this happen with me? I was from a very good family. My parents, I mean, are one of the most loving parents, you can ever find. My father pampered us like anything, I mean, we are both daughters. And I mean, I was a working person before that. And I
That
mean, I could
brings me, yes,
imagine something
Shalini,
like this happening with me. It
I
was
know. Yeah.
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So that's why that brings me to the question, to the burning question. You are a
Mhm.
highly educated woman. You hold a prominent position in a very prominent corporate. Why do women like you continue to stay on in abusive relationships?
Well, Neelam, honestly, including me or many of the women, I mean, when we are newly married, we are very scared. One is, I mean, does not have the experience of marriage. You don't know what is going to happen with you. You are believe. I mean, you are a typical Mills and Boone reader, and you think that okay, life is going to be so beautiful. You're going to get married, and I mean, that's how we all girls are brought up. But at the same time, Indian society is, I would say, still has a lot of coming up in terms of changing the mindsets of people where marriages are concerned, where equality between men and women are concerned. I mean, we are always taught, girls are always taught that, you have to make your marriage work. You have to get married, you have to get married, you have to have children, you have to have a, stable relationship, you have to have a good family. There are no divorces or there are no, broken marriages in the Indian society. I mean, that's how majority of the Indian society thinks. I mean, it could be rich families, it could be the poor families, it could be the middle class families, it could be the working women as well, you know.
When
So
you
the
talk,
mindset is really there. It's very, very difficult to change that.
so when you talk about this thing happening, it happens from childhood. The mindsets are set from childhood, and girls are taught to give in, to compromise, and pati parmeshwar, pati devta, all that happens. In fact, I will give you the figures. Domestic violence is deeply entrenched and widely prevalent in India. The National Crime Records Bureau of 2019 reports that 30.9% of all the 4.05 lakh cases under crimes against women are registered under Section 498A of the Indian Penal Code IPC. So, although the punishment for beating in India, the punishment for beating one's wife is imprisonment for 3 years and a fine. Why? I want to ask you, how many cases get reported? How many domestic abuse laws get, not filed and acted upon? What are the cases that come up in India on domestic violence every year? Can you give us some figures, please, Shalini?
The figures, what I have, they could be a little bit here and there, but on an average, you have now you have almost 2 lakh cases which are registered on domestic abuse every year.
Every year, 2 lakh
year.
cases.
And 86% of the domestic abuse or domestic violence cases are unreported. I mean, imagine these are like very, very few numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. So 86% of the domestic, violent cases are not even registered. I mean, they couldn't be like, they're helpless. They don't even want to go and take such an extreme step because that means it's an end to their marriage. Okay. So and what we've seen is that, last year, which was 2020, the number of cases because of the lockdown, I think the number what I have is there was just 103,000 cases just in 3 months. Can you imagine? Right. That's the kind of number we're talking about.
Those are the reported ones.
Those are the reported ones.
In fact, Shalini, the UN, it's a global pandemic. The UN Women's Organization brought out a report saying during the lockdown, 1 in 3 women was facing domestic abuse. And the reasons that, have been given is the men lost their jobs and it was a power play and staying in confined spaces. During lockdown, the domestic abuse and domestic violence cases really, really, triggered and they went up. But don't you think, Shalini, it is also because women don't know where to go. They don't know which laws to follow. So now please enlighten us, dear. Tell us about how to go about it.
There are, of course, there are laws and there are, there are enough, there is enough of laws which have been created by the Indian government. Um, but you also have a lot of help which is lying, which is available for you everywhere. So there are a lot of domestic helplines. So there is, I'm going to just show you, there is domestic abuse helpline 1091. I don't know whether you can see.
1091. Let me say that.
1091.
1091 is the domestic abuse
helpline number. Yes. Then there is 181. Now these are two very prominent, the helpline numbers. And then of course you have the police helpline number, which is 100.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So what are the, Shalini, the two numbers that you say? I want to repeat that again. The
1091. I'll just bring it a little closer. 1091.
Yeah.
And 181. And of course 100.
100 is the police number.
Is the police number. And I have called up this number myself. People do respond. Okay. And there are, a lot of state-wise helpline numbers also available. There are enough of women organizations, who are, especially NGOs, etc., who, you can reach out to and they can actually, help you out. They can counsel people, they can counsel the family members of the husband side, or the husband, or, in a lot of ways. So there is enough help if you don't want to reach out to your own immediate family or friends.
So, Shalini, what I understand is that the woman herself need not report the cruelty against her. It is any relative of hers who can report the case on her behalf. And that's what I was reading. And also, not all men are like that. There are some very kind, compassionate men. So the Bell Bajao movement started, where especially men, when they would hear a woman scream in the neighboring door or the neighboring locality, they are encouraged to go and ring the bell and ask for something as inane as water or coffee, so that the perpetrator of the crime knows that the voices are reaching outside and there is help available. So to intervene, to break the pattern, that is the Bell Bajao movement. And of course, we are talking about 498A. And of course, there are many people who will say it's a very multi-layered thing. And there are abuses against men also, but we are not getting into that sphere. Tonight, we are talking only of domestic abuse against women. So, Shalini, what I want to ask you is, what message would you have, since you've talked about mindsets, what message would you have for women and especially for families whose precious girl is going through this inhuman beating and domestic violence?
So, I would tell the families, first of all, that, these girls are your daughters, your children. You have brought them up with so much of love and care. Don't give up on them, after they've got married. Okay, your daughter's life is very, very precious. You get only one life. So look after her, be prepared for whatever adversaries, if it's a bad marriage, it doesn't work out, doesn't matter. You need to take care of your child, your daughter, in whatever circumstances. And marriage is just not the end of, every opportunity in life. You need to, I tell women, you need to love yourself, have respect for your own self.
I think you also said, Shalini, that when a woman is being beaten up, to beat him back. Did you say that?
Yes, I did. I completely believe in this.
Yeah.
Why should anybody beat up anybody, right? When we were all brought up, even if you have brothers and sisters, you would hit back each other, right? That's how you should be brought up. Every family needs to nurture their children as equals. From their childhood, the sons, should be told that you need to respect your sister, your mother, or the woman in the family.
Yes.
It has to be instilled from childhood. There is no other, there is no other way about it. I mean, that's the way you have to bring up your children, as equals. Show them, tell them to have respect for their, for their better half. Or it could be any woman in the society, and therefore today you have so many, crime rates in India against women. I mean, there are so many other atrocities which happen against women, in India especially.
Yeah. So the Indian Constitution, section 14, I think it says that we are all equal. So why, if men are equal, somebody said, why are women born slaves? If men are born equal, why are women born slaves? So first, the mentality has to be changed in
Absolutely.
parents, that they must be ready to take their daughter back lovingly and nurture her, because marriage is not the be all and end all of life. And that's why I come to my next question to you, Shalini. You
Yes.
were very, very brave that, of course, you suffered this for 10 years, but then you got a divorce. You had the courage to stand up and come out of this very, very abusive marriage. So, and yet in society, in our society, there are people who stigmatize divorce. What do you have to say about that? Why do people look down on women?
I mean, divorce is just not a stigma at all. I mean, there is no stigma attached to that. I mean, women are far more happier, after, they've come out of a bad marriage. And even parents today have started really realizing, opening up to the fact that, yes, there is, life beyond a bad marriage, for anybody. And today, I mean, I've been also talking to a lot of people around in smaller villages and cities, I mean, I've been doing this, own research of my own. And I have realized that people from, I would say the really poorer background. I mean, there are a lot of people who are coming out and, reporting domestic abuse in the families. I mean, I've had this case of this lady called Alia, who's a domestic helper. I mean, she was having a lot of problems, getting beaten up by the husband every day or whatever. And ultimately, she got the courage to go to the police and report about her problems. And the police came out and helped her. Imagine, I mean, somebody.
Wow.
Okay. And she said, I didn't only leave it at that. When I went back to my village, because both me and my husband were from the same village, I made a ruckus over there. So, today women are also coming out,
Yes.
and they're realizing that you're not going to sit down and just get beaten up or, take any abuse. So, I would just say that divorce is not a stigma at all, I mean,
you are an independent, financially independent woman. And are you happier now?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Very much. I mean, it's like a freedom to be out of, such a bad marriage. Yes, I'm very, very happy.
So your advice to women is to get an education and stand on their 2 feet.
That's right. I would always say, first of all, be independent, learn, I mean, get some skills, learn to do something. I mean, it could be anything small, okay? Reach out to your parents, reach out to friends,
Yes.
Get to know your rights, and at the end of the day, I mean, if nothing works out, then you don't have to, you do not have to suffer any abuse. I mean, that's the worst thing that you can do to yourself. It kills it just kills you at the end of the day, which is not correct. So you really need to, look after yourself, love yourself, and have respect for yourself at the end of the day. That's what I keep saying.
For yourself. That's the very big thing. Unfortunately, you know what happens, Shalini? The statistics that I have is that, in India, one case of torture to a woman happens every 12 minutes. Can you imagine? Also, 1 in 3 married women experiences domestic violence. 1 in 3. That's a huge number.
That's what I've also read.
So, what do we do about, the rural women who do not know their rights, who do not have a clue of
What
where.
are we thinking? I do work very closely with some of the government departments for their advertising, etc. Especially women and child welfare, etc. And they have enough of these, the campaigns or the abhiyans, as they call in Hindi, which is
Yes,
Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, which is, they are still talking about saving the girl child. Imagine. So, we need to be much more educative in terms of teaching, and having these documentaries, films, the street plays in the villages, which talk about stopping abuse to women of any kind. I mean, it could be domestic abuse, it could be, you know, marital rape, it could be, any kind of atrocities against women. So, government has to really come out. People have to come out with more, films, small documentaries targeted at these rural women.
exactly.
I mean, that's the only way to do it. Have more helpline centers, have more of these women or basically people from the government going and educating people in the rural sectors.
So, did you think, Shalini, I did justice to your story in my book?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the story was wonderful, and in fact, I mean, in case if somebody has not read the complete story, they can read this. I mean, you can read my story here on in this book on I Am Invincible. Okay, which is written so beautifully by Neelam Kumar, who's the author of this book. This book is available on Amazon and many other platforms.
Thank you. Shalini, I did want to make an impact, a social impact through some of the stories. And you, of course, are invincible. The measure of any civilization is how
Mm-hmm.
it treats its women. And
Yeah.
it is up to us to say no to violence against women. And let us do our bit to make homes safe places for women. Let us do our bit to educate, to empower, and resist. Ladies and gentlemen, let us say no to domestic violence. Just do your bit. Spread the word, spread the awareness, change mindsets, and see what a beautiful society, humane society we can create. My invincible Shalini, bless you. Thank you so much for sharing so much of valuable information with us. And you really, really have the courage. You've had the courage with your life, and you had the courage to come in front of the camera and talk about this issue that is a burning issue in our country. Um, to all the people who are watching, next Friday, I bring another invincible warrior. So do come, do join here, same time, same place, and get your vaccine of invincibility. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.